Hey guys, this is Steven here with another video on how to play some logic puzzles. This one's on Heyawake's. So the rules state that each cell must either be shaded in or left unshaded. The numbers indicate how many black cells are within that region. Black cells are going to be orthogonally surrounded by white cells in such a way that two black cells can never orthogonally be adjacent to one another. White cells may not be in a straight line vertically or horizontally in such a way that it connects three regions together. And I'm going to show plenty of those examples, so you'll get real used to that rule. Lastly, the white cells must all be orthogonally connected with one another, so you can't ever have a white cell or a group of white cells isolated from the rest of the group. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is try to solve one of these for you and share some common tips and tricks, so hopefully it'll make it easier for you to solve them on your own in the future. So the grid size can be of any dimensions, but in this example we have a 10 by 10. And the best place to start, of course, is going to be with the clues that I would consider are freebies. So any zeros or any twos within a 3 by 1 area, threes in a 5 by 1 area, or a 1 all by itself, those we know are going to automatically be white cells. So we can highlight all of those. The next thing that I'm going to look for is regions that are conjoined by two white cells, or three regions that could be connected. The reason for that is we know that that can't be. So here we have two regions already conjoined. We can't have this third one join the party, otherwise there'd be three regions conjoined horizontally. And so we have to make that a black cell. And the same can be said in the other direction as well. We can't make this a white cell, otherwise it'd be three regions conjoined vertically or horizontally by the white cells. Now that we have the black cells in there, the shaded ones are always going to be surrounded by white cells orthogonally, so we can color those in. And the next thing I wanted to point out, and this might be a little hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best, is make sure that when there's three regions and you have white cells in the middle, I kind of consider this a sandwich, right? We have three regions that are conjoined by two white cells in the middle. It creates a problem such that in the top here, or the bottom, you can't have two white cells, because otherwise you're going to have a problem where both of these are then going to have to be black cells, and that's not possible. You can't make them white, and you can't make them both black. So what's going to happen is one of these is going to have to be a white cell, and one of these is going to have to be a black cell, and then the opposite is true down here. Basically, whichever domino formation you have, you know that's going to be the opposite down here, like that. So it could either be that way, or if I clean this up, oops. So the two black cells are either going to be like that, or they're going to be like that. Now I don't think we have enough information to figure that out quite yet, but I'll come back to that. So here's two more regions conjoined. We can't have this third one join the party, so we make that black. And now this region is solved, so we can make all the others white. Here are two more regions. Can't have this third one join the party. And here we go. Here's another one. So we have two regions conjoined by white cells. Can't have this third one join the party, so we're going to make that one black. And that brings me to my next tip, is that making sure every white cell has an escape path, that you don't close off any areas. So if we look at this white cell, for instance, we can't trap it, right? If I were to put a black cell here, that would trap this white cell and it'd be isolated from the rest of the group. So in fact, we have to make this a white cell. And now it brings me back to my point earlier. Now we know this whole formation. So a white cell was here, so we go catty corner, that's a white cell. This is a black cell because of the three region rule. And this is a black cell because of the three region rule. So there we go, we've solved that. And now this white cell, whenever we have three black cells like this in a little formation, you have to create an escape path. So this white cell has to go up like that. And then same thing here. We can't have this white cell walled off. So it has to have that escape path. And now this must be black because we look at this region, there must be two shaded cells. There's only one of them. So there's the black. And then we can surround it with white. Now this 3 cell, we only have one shaded cell. We need 2 more. There can only be 1 in these 2 and 1 in these 2. Because again, the black cells can't be orthogonally adjacent to one another. And so we figured this out by looking down here. This white cell all by itself would get isolated if I made that a black cell. So that has to be white in order for it to escape. Therefore, that is a shaded cell, unshaded, shaded cell. And then these above it are going to be white cells because again, the shaded cells are going to be orthogonally surrounded by the white cells. And if we look at this region here, I can't make this cell black, otherwise it would trap in all these white cells. And so I have to, again, create an escape path for the white cells to go out that way. So hopefully that's helpful. Here we have another example of 3 regions. This one might be a little tougher to see because it's separated. The white cells are not right next to each other, but I can't make this a white cell, otherwise it would connect these 3 regions. So that's going to be a black cell. And then again, orthogonally surround it with white cells. And if we looked at this area, these white cells have to have a path to escape, right? So this up here is going to have to be a white cell because otherwise it would trap in these cells, right? So we'll make that white. And then my last tip here, unfortunately, I don't think is going to be very useful in this puzzle, but just be cognizant of the checkerboard patterns that get created often with these. The black cells often will connect diagonally with one another. And so if you think about it, this 2 by 2 area, if this was a 2 clue, you could not have these 2 cells be white or black, right? Because if these 2 were white, then these 2 would have to be black, and that just can't work. So what ends up happening is you create this checkerboard pattern where the black cells are either going to look like that or they're going to look like that. And the same thing can be said in a 3 by 2 area where with the 3 clue, where basically the black cells are basically going to offset one another and create kind of that checkerboard formation. So just something to kind of conceptualize and think when you do these, is because that's helped me a little bit. So let's go ahead and finish off this puzzle. That's it for the tips and tricks. Here we have 2 regions conjoined. Can't have this 3rd region join the party, so that's got to be a black cell. Again here, 2 regions connected, so we make this 3rd region disconnect. Same thing here, we have 2 regions, so that's going to be a black cell. And let's think about this. So here are 2 white cells. Oh, no, that's the same region, so that's no problem. So this is a good example to show you. So this can be a white cell because again, it's just 2 regions connected. But you couldn't have something that looks like that because that would connect way too many regions together. So hopefully that makes sense. Here we go. So here's 2 regions connected. We can't have this 3rd region join the party. So that's going to be black. Now it's created another pattern here and another pattern here on both sides on this one. And then we're going to surround these black cells orthogonally. Now here's one of those situations. Again, we have 1 region, 2 regions, and this is the 3rd region. So we have to separate those. Here are our 2 more regions conjoined. So we do that. Here are 2 more regions conjoined. We can make this 3rd one separate from the other 2. And now that black has solved this region, so that's got to be white. Here's 2 regions again. Make that black. And here we go. So this is nice because this is a sandwiched area, right? We have two two regions conjoined by white, so on both sides we have to separate them. So that's very helpful. Now this white cell has to escape. I can't make this a black cell, otherwise it would trap that one. Oops. So these two are white. And this white cell has to escape, because again you have those three black cells in that formation, so it creates, you know, we can't ever have this diamond formation because it would isolate that cell. So these two have to be white. Hopefully you guys can see the color grading. Sometimes I've had a hard time with this puzzle between the gray, the black, and the white cells, and then the bordering. I think that's given me a bit of a hard time with these puzzles. I think it'd be easier if I made it a different color. These three regions would connect unless this is a black cell, so we have to do that. And now, where to? Where to now? Oh, here we go. So these are two regions. This would be a third, so we have to disconnect that. And now this has created something interesting. So this has created a wall so that this white cell can't escape along this way. So it has to come up through here and escape. So it's got to come up. And now we can see it has to come through here, right? Because if we imagine, no matter what's happening in this corner, it has to connect with these in this bottom corner. So you can see if you kind of imagine, and maybe after my editing I'll draw like a diagonal here, but if you kind of imagine this region here is disconnected from the top region. So we have to connect these two. And the only connecting point is right here. So we have to make that white. And this would be three regions connected unless I make that a black cell. And now that's the connection point up here. And yes, that could be white. And this is going to be black to separate these three regions. And now that's, so if you think about what we just did, this white cell right here that I have my mouse over had to connect all the way down here to these white cells, right? So you kind of think about how they're going to join the party and conceptualize that. So that is really helpful in these puzzles. So now we have two regions connected by white cells horizontally. So this has to be a black cell. And now we think about this white cell and that white cell, they have to join the party. So they have to escape this way and up and over. And so that's it. I think that solved the puzzle. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of these. I struggled with them. I did, and I still do. This was an easier one. I've been trying to do some of the harder ones, and I don't know. Conceptually, I find myself struggling. I don't know what it is. I've done a lot of different logic puzzles, and by far I think this is the one that I've had the hardest time with. So probably won't be doing a whole lot more of these. Maybe I will, but we'll see. I think, again, pretty low on my enjoyment level. So if you've liked this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks everyone. Have a good night.